Watching all of this and said today he fully supports the Cuban people. Our D.C. Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy live now with the president's response today. Ben.
Well, Calvin, as you were talking about, President Biden says he stands with the Cuban people in their fight for freedom.
Folks, I want to start by recognizing the remarkable protests that are taking place in Cuba.
President Biden in the Roosevelt Room Monday to discuss reducing gun crimes, but opened with support for the Cuban people in the wake of protests against the government.
The United States stands firmly with the people of Cuba.
The White House released a statement adding the Cuban people are bravely asserting their right of peaceful protest, and the right to freely determine their own future must be respected.
These are protests inspired by the harsh reality of everyday life in Cuba.
But Cuba's president blames the U.S. government for the protests.
¿Cuál es la causa de ello? Es el bloqueo.
That's simply inaccurate.
As Biden now calls on the communist regime to listen to the protesters.
The Cuban people demanding their freedom from an authoritarian regime.
This as the commander-in-chief now monitors the situation 90 miles from the U.S.
Peaceful protesters are not criminals, and we join partners across the hemisphere and around the world in urging the Cuban regime to respect the rights of the Cuban people to determine their own future.
And National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan did send a warning to the Cuban government not to target those peaceful protesters as the White House keeps a very close eye on the situation. Calvin?
And Ben, we can't forget about what's happening in Haiti right now. There's talk of U.S. troops heading to Haiti, but also about the doctor with South Florida ties who was arrested yesterday. Has there been any talk today from the White House or the State Department?
Well, Calvin, the State Department has stopped short in talking about too many details because it is still an ongoing investigation. What I can tell you is a U.S. delegation was in Haiti over the weekend. They're back in D.C. today. In fact, they met with President Biden at the White House here behind me a very short time ago to brief him on the latest. But today, Press Secretary Jen Psaki says no news to update on if troops will, in fact, be sent to Haiti. But of course, we'll keep you posted.
Our Ben Kennedy live for us at the nation's capital.